Stop running from the storm. The secret to peace isn't in avoiding chaos, it's in learning how to stand in the middle of it, untouched. You've been taught that strength means resisting, that it means pushing back against the things that shake you. But what if everything you've believed about resilience was wrong? What if true power doesn't come from fighting, but from knowing how to let go? That voice in your head, the one that keeps replaying old wounds, the one that screams, "Why me?" When life blindsides you, the one that keeps you awake at night with thoughts of what went wrong, it's not protecting you, it's trapping you. Right now, your mind feels like a battlefield, a war zone where every memory, every fear, every regret fights for your attention. But what if you could step off the battlefield and never return? What if you could find a way to be untouchable? Not because the world stops testing you, but because you no longer react the way you once did. Centuries ago, ancient masters of the mind discovered a powerful truth. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. There is a way to move through life where nothing controls you, where criticism doesn't break you, where rejection doesn't define you, where the chaos around you never becomes the chaos within you. Imagine being so still, so centered, that no matter what happens, you remain calm. Imagine insults bouncing off of you like rain hitting a mountain. Imagine facing failure and seeing not an ending, but an open door. You have spent too long believing that struggle defines you, that the weight of the past must always be carried, that the wounds of yesterday will always shape tomorrow. But that's not the truth. The truth is, your suffering doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from the meaning you give it. Your mind is a lens, and you get to decide what you focus on. You can zoom in on the pain, on the losses, on the disappointments, or you can shift your gaze to the lessons, the possibilities, the paths opening before you. A man once approached the Buddha in anger, expecting to be met with rage. But the Buddha only smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man had no answer. And that's the lesson. Nothing outside of you has power over you unless you allow it to. Words, rejection, setbacks, they only have meaning if you choose to give them meaning. You are not defined by what happens to you. You are defined by what you choose to carry. How often do you hold on to things that only cause you pain? Someone insults you, and you replay their words in your mind for days. You experience failure, and instead of seeing it as a lesson, you take it as proof that you are not enough. You carry wounds as if keeping them alive will somehow make you stronger. But ask yourself, has holding on ever truly healed you, or has it only made you a prisoner? Your thoughts shape your reality. The more you focus on pain, the deeper those mental grooves become, making suffering your default state. But the moment you shift your perspective, the moment you choose to see things differently, you rewire your brain. You become someone who moves through life with clarity, who is unshaken by the things that once had power over them. So ask yourself right now, what pain are you magnifying? What story have you been telling yourself over and over again that no longer serves you? Take a breath. Feel that? That's you taking back control. Suffering was never something you had to accept. It was only ever a choice. And now you can choose something else. You have been taught to grip tightly to life, to hold on with everything you have, to try and force things to go the way you want. But control is an illusion. The harder you fight against the current, the more exhausted you become. Have you ever tried to control everything, only to realize that life had its own plans? That no matter how hard you pushed, things still unfolded in ways you never expected? The truth is, the more you resist life, the more you suffer. But the moment you let go, the moment you surrender to the flow, everything changes. A monk once told his student, "When you fight the river, you drown. But when you surrender, you float. Life is not meant to be controlled, it is meant to be experienced. The greatest pains do not come from what happens to us, but from our resistance to what is. A missed opportunity, a relationship that ended, a dream that didn't go as planned. These are not punishments. They are redirections. They are guiding you to something better. Every closed door is a blessing, even if you cannot see it yet. Every detour is leading you exactly where you need to be. But if you cling to what was, if you grip too tightly to the things that are trying to leave your life, you will never make space for what is meant to arrive. Even in the moments when you thought it had, even when everything felt like it was falling apart, somehow you were always carried through. And you still are. You do not have to react to everything. You do not have to absorb the negativity of others, to take their pain and make it your own. When someone tries to hurt you, when they throw their anger, their judgment, their cruelty at you, remember this: their words are not about you. They are reflections of their own inner world. If someone is filled with anger, they will project anger. If someone is filled with bitterness, they will spread bitterness. But you do not have to take what they offer. If someone hands you poison, will you drink it, or will you walk away? A mirror does not shatter when it is insulted. It does not break when someone yells at it. It simply reflects. That is the power you have. You can choose to let things pass through you instead of letting them take root within you. The next time someone criticizes you, insults you, or tries to pull you into their chaos, ask yourself, is this about me, or is this about them? Because most of the time, it has nothing to do with you at all. You are not here to carry the weight of other people's emotions. You are not here to break under the pressure of the world's expectations. You are here to be still, to be unshaken, to be untouchable. Take a deep breath. Let go of what is weighing you down. You do not have to hold on to it any longer. You are stepping into a new way of being, one where nothing outside of you has the power to shake you. And that is where true freedom begins. You've spent your life believing that peace comes from controlling everything around you. You've been taught to chase certainty, to grip tightly to the things you love, to fight against anything that threatens your sense of stability. But the more you try to control life, the more exhausted you become, because control is an illusion. You were never meant to hold on to everything. You were meant to let go, to trust, to surrender. Look at nature. A river does not resist its course, it flows. A tree does not fight the wind, it bends. But humans, we cling. We grip so tightly to our plans, our expectations, our ideas of how life should be, and when things don't go according to that plan, we suffer. But suffering is not caused by life itself. It is caused by our resistance to it. The pain of losing someone, of failing, of watching things change is real. But suffering comes when we refuse to accept that reality. Imagine holding a rope tied to a wild horse. The harder the horse pulls, the tighter you grip, your hands burning as the rope digs into your skin. You believe that if you just hold on long enough, you can regain control. But the only way to stop the pain is to let go. That's what most people don't realize. The pain we feel isn't always from what happened. It's from our refusal to release it. You have been conditioned to think that letting go means losing, that surrender means weakness. But what if letting go is the most powerful thing you could ever do? What if it is not a sign of failure, but a sign of wisdom? What if surrender doesn't mean giving up, but finally allowing life to unfold the way it was meant to? Some of the most painful moments in your life have been the ones where you tried to force things to stay the same when they were meant to change. The relationship that was already over, the dream that was no longer aligned with your path, the version of yourself that you had outgrown. But you fought. You clung to what was. afraid of what would happen if you let go. And in that fight, you suffered. But what happened when you finally released it? What happened when you stopped resisting? A weight lifted, didn't it? A space opened, and something better, something new, something unexpected found its way in. Life is a constant cycle of death and rebirth. Old versions of you must die so that new versions can be born. Old dreams must fade so that new ones can take shape. The people who leave your life are making space for the ones who are meant to stay. The opportunities that pass you by are clearing the way for the ones that are truly meant for you. But if you keep clinging to what's gone, you will never be able to receive what's coming. You have a choice. You can continue to fight, to grip, to exhaust yourself trying to control things that were never yours to control. Or you can let go. You can trust. You can allow. There is a reason you are hearing this message right now. It is because you are ready to step into a new way of living, a way where peace is not something you chase, but something you create from within, where you are no longer controlled by fear, by loss, by change, where you finally understand that nothing was ever truly yours to begin with. Everything is borrowed, everything is temporary, and that is not something to fear. Look at your life. What are you still holding on to that is weighing you down? What are you gripping so tightly that it is causing you pain? A past relationship? A failure? A version of yourself that no longer fits who you are becoming? What if, in this moment, you decided to release it? Take a breath. Imagine opening your hands. Feel the weight lift off of you. This is not giving up. This is not losing. This is freedom. And now you are free. You have always searched for happiness, thinking that it was somewhere outside of you, that if you could just achieve enough, prove enough, be enough, you would finally feel at peace. But happiness is not something you find. It is something you uncover, something that has been buried beneath years of expectations, fears, and conditioning. You were born with joy inside of you. Look at children. They do not need a reason to be happy. They do not question their worth. They do not live in the past or fear the future. They exist fully in the moment, completely free. But over time, that changes. You were taught to seek happiness in achievements, in relationships, in external validation. You were taught that you needed to be something, do something, have something in order to be worthy of joy. But what if none of that was true? What if everything you were looking for was already within you, waiting for you to remember? A monk once asked his student, "Where do you think happiness comes from?" The student replied, "From achieving my goals, from being loved, from success." The monk simply smiled and said, "No. Happiness comes from the absence of seeking it. The moment you stop chasing happiness, the moment you stop attaching it to things outside of yourself, you realize that it has been with you all along. It is not in the next achievement, the next relationship, the next big moment. It is in this moment, right now. It is in the breath you just took, in the stillness within you, in the realization that you do not need anything outside of yourself to feel whole. You have been conditioned to believe that peace is something you will find once everything in your life is perfect. But perfection does not exist. There will always be something to fix, something to strive for, something that is missing. If you keep waiting for life to be perfect before you allow yourself to be at peace, you will wait forever. The only way to find peace is to decide that you already have it. Right now, in this moment, you have everything you need. You are alive. You are breathing. You are here. That is enough. Everything else is just extra. Let go of the belief that something is missing. Let go of the idea that happiness is something you have to chase. It is already within you. You just have to stop looking for it outside of yourself. You are not here to spend your life waiting for a future that may never come. You are here to live, to be, to experience every moment fully, without fear, without hesitation, without the need for it to be anything other than what it is. Right now, in this moment, you are free, you are at peace, you are enough. And that has always been the truth. You have spent so much of your life searching for meaning, for purpose, for something to make you feel whole. You have looked for it in achievements, in relationships, in recognition. You have chased it in success, in approval, in the constant need to prove yourself. But what if the thing you have been searching for has been with you all along? What if the wholeness you seek is not something to be found, but something to be remembered? You were never broken. You were never lacking. You were never incomplete. The world convinced you that you were, that you needed more, that you had to become something greater in order to be enough. But from the moment you took your first breath, you were already everything you needed to be. The problem was never that you were missing something. The problem was that you were taught to forget who you are. Look at your life. What are you still holding on to that is weighing you down? What are you gripping so tightly that it is causing you pain? A past relationship, a failure, a version of yourself that no longer fits who you are becoming. What if, in this moment, you decided to release it? Take a breath. Imagine opening your hands. Feel the weight lift off of you. This is not giving up. This is not losing. This is freedom. And now, you are free. You have always searched for happiness, thinking that it was somewhere outside of you. That if you could just achieve enough, prove enough, be enough, you would finally feel at peace. But happiness is not something you find. It is something you uncover. Something that has been buried beneath years of expectations, fears, and conditioning. You were born with joy inside of you. Look at children. They do not need a reason to be happy. They do not question their worth. They exist fully in the moment, completely free. But over time, that changes. You were taught to seek happiness in achievements, in relationships, in external validation. You were taught that you needed to be something, do something, have something, in order to be worthy of joy. But what if none of that was true? What if everything you were looking for was already within you, waiting for you to remember? A monk once asked his student, "Where do you think happiness comes from?" The student replied, "From achieving my goals, from being loved, from success." The monk simply smiled and said, "No. Happiness comes from the absence of seeking it." The moment you stop chasing happiness, the moment you stop attaching it to things outside of yourself, you realize that it has been with you all along. It is not in the next achievement, the next relationship, the next big moment. It is in this moment, right now. It is in the breath you just took, in the stillness within you, in the realization that you do not need anything outside of yourself to feel whole. You have been conditioned to believe that peace is something you will find once everything in your life is perfect. But perfection does not exist. There will always be something to fix, something to strive for, something that is missing. If you keep waiting for life to be perfect before you allow yourself to be at peace, you will wait forever. The only way to find peace is to decide that you already have it. Right now, in this moment, you have everything you need. You are alive. You are breathing. You are here. That is enough. Everything else is just extra. Let go of the belief that something is missing. Let go of the idea that happiness is something you have to chase. It is already within you. You just have to stop looking for it outside of yourself. You are not here to spend your life waiting for a future that may never come. You are here to live, to be, to experience every moment fully, without fear, without hesitation, without the need for it to be anything other than what it is. Right now, in this moment, you are free, you are at peace, you are enough. And that has always been the truth. You have spent so much of your life searching searching for meaning, for purpose, for something to make you feel whole. You have looked for it in achievements, in relationships, in recognition. You have chased it in success, in approval, in the constant need to prove yourself. But what if the thing you have been searching for has been with you all along? What if the wholeness you seek is not something to be found, but something to be remembered? You were never broken. You were never lacking. You were never incomplete. The world convinced you that you were, that you needed more, that you had to become something greater in order to be enough. But from the moment you took your first breath, you were already everything you needed to be. The problem was never that you were missing something. The problem was that you were taught to forget who you are. You have allowed the world to shape you, to tell you what is possible, what is acceptable, what is realistic. You have taken on the beliefs of those around you, carrying their fears, their doubts, their limitations as if they were your own. And in doing so, you have built a cage around yourself, a prison made of expectations and false ideas of what you are capable of. But the walls of that cage were never real. They only existed because you believed in them. And now it is time to remember. You were not meant to live small. You were not meant to spend your days doubting your worth, questioning your purpose, waiting for the right moment to start living fully. You were meant to expand, to rise, to create, to experience life in its fullest form. But in order to do that, you must be willing to release everything that has kept you from seeing the truth. The truth that you are already enough, that you always have been, that you do not need to prove your worth to anyone. Look at your life. How much of it have you spent seeking permission? Permission to dream bigger, to take risks, to live in a way that feels right for you. How many times have you waited for someone else to tell you that you are allowed to be happy, that you are allowed to change, that you are allowed to walk away from what no longer serves you? But what if you stopped waiting? What if right now you decided that you do not need anyone's permission but your own? The world will try to convince you to play it safe. It will tell you to stay small, to fit in, to follow the path that has been laid out for you. But that path was never meant for you. You have always known that, haven't you? That you were different, that you saw the world in a way others didn't, that you felt things more deeply, that you dreamed of things beyond what others deemed possible. And that is not something to hide. That is not something to suppress. That is your power. The ones who change the world are not the ones who follow the rules. They are the ones who break them, the ones who refuse to accept limitations, who choose to believe in something greater, who dare to follow the voice inside them instead of the voices around them. And you? You are one of them. But you must be willing to break free, to release the version of yourself that was built on fear, to stop living in the stories that were never yours to carry. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the limitations that others have placed on you. You are something far greater, and it is time you start acting like it. The universe does not place desires in your heart by accident. The things you dream of, the things that pull at your soul, the visions that won't leave you alone, they are not random. They are callings. They are glimpses into the future that is meant for you. But they will not happen if you do not step into them, if you do not believe in them, if you do not believe in yourself. And yes, fear will come. Doubt will come. The voices will whisper that you are not ready, that you are not capable, that you will fail. But those voices are liars. They have always been liars. The fear you feel is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are standing at the edge of something extraordinary. Do you know what separates those who create their dream life from those who never do? It is not talent. It is not luck. It is not intelligence. It is one simple thing: action. The willingness to move forward even when it is uncomfortable. The willingness to take the first step even when the whole path is not clear. The willingness to bet on themselves even when no one else does, because at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to give you permission. No one is going to hand you the life you want. You must take it. You must decide that you are worthy of it, that you are capable of it, that you are ready for it, and you are. You have always been. The only thing left to do now is act. What if, for once, you trusted yourself completely? What if you stopped asking for signs and started believing that you already know what to do? What if you stopped waiting for the perfect moment and realized that this moment, right here, right now, is the only one you will ever have? The life you want is not somewhere in the future. It is waiting for you now. The version of yourself that you dream of becoming is already inside of you. But you must step into it. You must stop playing small. You must start living as if you are already that person. Because the moment you do, everything changes. The universe responds to action. It rewards those who are willing to move, to trust, to leap. It does not wait for you to feel ready. It waits for you to show that you are. And the moment you do, the moment you take that first step, you will see something incredible. The doors you thought were locked will open. The opportunities you thought were out of reach will find their way to you. The things you once thought were impossible will become your reality. Because the truth is, they were never impossible. You just hadn't stepped into the version of yourself that was capable of receiving them. But now you are. So step forward, step boldly, step fully into the person you were always meant to be. The world is waiting. The life you desire is waiting. The only thing left to do now is claim it. You have spent too much time waiting for the right moment, waiting for the fear to disappear, waiting for someone to tell you that you are ready. But the truth is, there is no perfect moment. There never has been. The fear will not magically vanish. No one is coming to tell you that it's time, because it has always been time. The only thing missing has been your decision. You've been standing at the edge of your potential, staring at the life you want, knowing deep down that you were made for more. But something inside you keeps whispering, what if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if it doesn't work? But what if it does? What if everything you've been dreaming of is waiting on the other side of that fear? What if the only thing keeping you from the life you desire is the belief that you're not capable of reaching it? You were not created to live in doubt. You were not meant to stay small, to dim your light, to shrink yourself to fit into places that were never meant for you. You were made to rise, to expand, to walk boldly into the life that was always yours to claim. But no one can claim it for you. You must be the one to step forward. There will always be reasons to wait, always be excuses, always be doubts creeping in, telling you that you need more time, more experience, more certainty. But time will not wait for you. Life will not slow down for you to feel ready. The only way to become ready is to start. The only way to build confidence is to take action. And the only way to create the life you want is to stop waiting and move toward it right now. You've seen what happens when you hesitate. You've watched opportunities slip through your fingers. You've felt the sting of regret, the weight of knowing that you let fear make your choices for you. But that does not have to be your story anymore. The past does not define you. Every moment is a new chance, a new beginning, a new decision, and you get to decide who you are becoming. Imagine yourself a year from now. What do you see? Are you still in the same place, making the same excuses, waiting for life to happen to you? Or are you stronger, wiser, bolder, someone who took risks, who stepped out of their comfort zone, who bet on themselves even when no one else did. Because that version of you exists. It is not a fantasy, it is a choice. And you can choose it right now. Most people live their entire lives in hesitation. They dream, they hope, they plan, but they never move. They never take the risk, never take the leap, never believe in themselves enough to truly go all in. And because of that, they never see what they are truly capable of. But you are not most people. You are waking up. You are seeing the truth that the only thing that has ever held you back was your own mind. And now you are ready to take back control. Fear will tell you that you need to be cautious, that you need to be realistic, that you should stay where it's safe. But safety is not where growth happens. It is not where transformation happens. The greatest things in life require risk, require faith, require you to step into the unknown without knowing exactly what will happen. But that is where magic happens. That is where breakthroughs happen. That is where you find out just how powerful you really are. You have played small for long enough. You have waited long enough. The time for hesitation is over. It is time to move, to act, to become. And no, it will not be easy. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, moments when you want to turn back, moments when fear whispers that you should quit. But remember this, every great success story began with uncertainty. Every strong person you admire once stood exactly where you are now, wondering if they had what it took. The only difference between them and those who never made it is that they kept going, they kept believing, they kept moving forward, even when it was hard, even when it was uncomfortable, even when everything inside them screamed to stop. And you will do the same, because you are stronger than your doubts. You are greater than your fears. You are more capable than you have ever given yourself credit for. And now you will prove it. Do not let another day pass in hesitation. Do not allow fear to steal one more moment of your life. The clock is ticking, time is moving, and you have a choice to make. Will you continue to wait, or will you finally step into the life that has been waiting for you? You know the answer. Now act. There comes a moment in life when you realize that the only thing standing between you and everything you desire is the belief that you can have it. It's not luck, not circumstance, not the opinions of others. It's you, the way you see yourself, the limits you place on your own potential, the doubts you allow to take root in your mind. If you could strip away every excuse, every hesitation, every moment of second guessing, you would see the truth. You were never lacking. You were never unworthy. You were always enough. The only question is, when will you start acting like it? You've spent too much time waiting for the right moment, waiting for confidence, waiting for something outside of you to give you permission to step into your greatness. But that moment is not coming. No one is going to show up and hand you the life you want. No one is going to pull you out of hesitation. No one is going to fight for your dreams the way you should be fighting for them. Because this is your battle, your responsibility. And the longer you wait, the more time you waste. Time you will never get back. Think about all the moments when you hesitated, when you held yourself back, when you let fear make your decisions for you. How many times have you talked yourself out of something you truly wanted? How many times have you settled for less because going after more felt too risky? And now, here you are, realizing that fear has stolen too much from you already. But this is where everything changes, because now you understand something you didn't before. That fear is not a stop sign. That doubt is not the truth. That hesitation is nothing more than a test to see if you are willing to move forward anyway. And once you realize that, you take your power back. You no longer wait for fear to disappear. You move despite it. You no longer, because that is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not intelligence. It is the simple, unwavering decision to act, to stop waiting, to stop making excuses, to stop believing the lies your mind has been telling you about why you can't, why you shouldn't, why you're not ready. You are ready. You always have been. The only thing left to do now is prove it. This is the moment where everything shifts. The moment where you stop hesitating and start doing, where you stop overthinking and start moving, where you stop questioning and start believing. Because every second you spend in doubt is a second wasted, and you don't have time to waste anymore. The version of you that you dream of becoming, the one who is bold, confident, unstoppable, is not somewhere in the future. That version of you exists right now, waiting for you to step into it. But you have to decide. You have to choose to stop playing small, to stop living in hesitation, to stop letting fear dictate your life. Because if you don't, if you keep waiting, keep delaying, keep telling yourself that someday you'll be ready, then a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you will look back and realize that nothing changed, that you are still standing in the same place, still making the same excuses, still living the same life. And that is not what you were meant for. You were meant for more. You were meant to rise, to grow, to create, to step fully into the power that has been inside of you all along. But no one can do it for you. No one can push you into your destiny. You have to do it yourself. You have to take that first step, even if it scares you, even if you don't have all the answers, even if you don't feel ready. Because the truth is, you will never feel ready. You will never have all the answers. There will always be reasons to wait, reasons to hesitate, reasons to put it off until tomorrow. But tomorrow is not promised. The only moment you are guaranteed is this one, right now. So, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep waiting, keep doubting, keep living at half your potential, or are you going to take control? Are you going to step forward? Are you going to decide right now that you are done letting fear win? Because that decision, that single moment where you choose action over hesitation, will change everything. You've spent too much time waiting for the right moment. But the truth is, the right moment has always been now. Every second you hesitate, every time you second-guess yourself, you are choosing to stay where you are. And where has that gotten you? How many dreams have you put on hold? How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because you told yourself you weren't ready? But deep down, you know the truth. You've always been ready. The only thing holding you back is the story you keep telling yourself. You've been conditioned to think that success belongs to a select few, the lucky ones, the naturally gifted, the ones who have something special that you don't. But that's a lie. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who never felt fear. They aren't the ones who had everything figured out from the start. They are the ones who decided to act despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, despite the obstacles. They understood something that most people never do. That hesitation is the real enemy. How many times have you told yourself you'll start tomorrow? That next week, next month, next year will be different? But time doesn't wait. Every moment you delay is a moment you will never get back. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret, that lasts forever. Think about the person you want to become, the version of yourself that is fearless, bold, and unstoppable. That version of you is not some distant dream. It is already inside you, waiting for you to stop doubting, waiting for you to take action. But you cannot become that person by thinking about it. You cannot become that person by wishing, by hoping, by planning endlessly without ever taking a step. The only way to become that version of yourself is to start moving toward it now. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, fear will try to stop you. Your mind will come up with every reason why you should wait, why you should stay where you are. But that is not your truth. Your truth is that you were made for more. Your truth is that you have everything you need to succeed. You just have to believe it. You do not need permission. You do not need validation. You do not need to wait until you feel ready. You need to act. Because the moment you take that first step, everything changes. The doubt starts to fade. The fear loses its grip. And you realize that the only thing that was ever holding you back was you.